In this video, we are going to create a lush green background and people walking on the foreground on a summer day. I start by wetting the paper. We are going to use wet on wet technique. I'm having permanent orange, Naples yellow, Prussian blue, Payne's gray, rose madder and olive green on my palette. I mixed a small amount of permanent orange with Prussian blue and added more water to it to create a light value which is used to paint the foreground. Next I'm mixing olive green with equal amount of Naples yellow to paint the background. I'm using splattering technique and stippling technique to paint the background. I'm holding the mop brush little above my painting surface and just flickering on the bristles of the brush. I'm using a mop brush for this splattering technique. You can also use a toothbrush as an alternative. Next, I'm using stippling technique. For that, I'm just dabbing the brush on the wet paper. When using stippling technique and splattering technique on the wet paper, it creates a unique texture for the background. Next, I'm using olive green with small amount of Naples yellow to add more depth to this painting. Initially, we applied a light value which is a mix of olive green with equal amount of Naples yellow. Next, we applied a dark value by mixing a small amount of Naples yellow with olive green. To add more depth, I mixed olive green with Payne's gray and I'm using stippling technique to dab that paint onto the wet background. Adding depth to your painting creates a beautiful atmospheric perspective similar to what we see in real life. I altered between the stippling technique and the splattering technique because I don't have any strict plan for it. I just relied on my intuition for the decision making process. I want to just remind you that while using the splattering technique, hold the brush slightly above the paper so that while splattering, the paint won't spread out of the intended place. Next, take a tissue paper and fold it as in the video and lift some of the paint to add people on that place. My paper is still wet, so this lifting technique works perfectly for me. When the paper is almost dry, I started to add human figures to this painting. I'm going to use Prussian blue, orange and rose madder to paint the shirts of the people. I mix Prussian blue with orange to create a brown which is used to paint the pants. I mixed Naples yellow with permanent orange to get the skin tone which is used to paint the faces of the people. I used Payne's Grey to paint their hair. I painted some people walking towards the trees and some people walking away from the trees. So the ones heading towards the trees, you will see their head, and for the ones moving away from the trees, you will see their faces. Next, I mixed Prussian blue with Payne's Grey and added more water to this mix to get a light value which is used to paint the shadow of the people. At last, I splattered some Payne's Grey on the foreground. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye bye from Prema.